The small human scout vessel Horizon drifted silently through the void at the edge of human-explored space. Its sleek, practical design reflected humanity's approach to space travel: functional, resilient, and built for the unknown. Captain Nathan Cole stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of instrument panels. He ran his hand through his short gray hair as he studied the readings. "Sir, we're picking up some unusual energy signatures ahead," said Science Officer Olivia Grant, her fingers moving quickly across her console. "Nothing in our database matches the pattern." Cole nodded thoughtfully. "How far?" "About 40,000 kilometers, sir. It appears to be some kind of station or outpost." Communications specialist Daniel Wright turned in his chair. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's not in any known language." The bridge fell silent as strange sounds filled the air: clicking, humming tones interspersed with musical notes that seemed to follow some alien pattern. "Run it through the translation matrix," Cole ordered, "and bring us to standby alert. Not combat ready. I don't want to seem threatening, but be prepared." The crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Horizon had been exploring the frontier for 3 years, and while they had encountered simple life forms before, this was potentially their first contact with an advanced alien civilization. The holographic display at the center of the bridge flickered to life, revealing a being unlike anything they had seen before. Its body appeared insect-like, but with smooth, iridescent skin that shifted colors as it moved. 4 arms gestured gracefully as it spoke, and its large compound eyes seemed to take in the entire human crew at once. "Greetings, travelers," the translation program rendered in a neutral voice. "You have entered space monitored by the Galactic Consortium. We welcome peaceful contact with new species." Cole stepped forward. "I am Captain Nathan Cole of the Earth vessel Horizon. We are explorers from the planet Earth, seeking knowledge and peaceful relations with other intelligent life." The alien's skin rippled with blue and green patterns. "I am Trelvox, Outpost Commander. Your approach was noticed by our sensors. Your technology is interesting, different from our own." Over the next several hours, the humans learned that the Galactic Consortium comprised 12 major species who had maintained interstellar peace for over 700 years. The consortium controlled vast regions of space, with member species specializing in different areas of science, art, and governance. "You are the first new spacefaring species we have encountered in nearly 80 years, Trelvox explained. "The Consortium Council will be very interested in your people." Cole exchanged glances with his officers. This was far beyond their mission parameters, but the opportunity was too significant to ignore. "We would be honored to establish diplomatic relations," Cole replied. 2 days later, after sending encrypted messages back to Earth Command, the Horizon docked with the alien outpost. As the airlock cycled open, Cole led a small delegation into the station. The interior was vast and curved, with architecture that seemed to flow rather than stand rigid. Aliens of various forms moved through the spaces, some floating, others walking on multiple legs, and some gliding along on what appeared to be personal hover platforms. A delegation of 7 different species awaited them. Trelvox stepped forward. "The consortium invites humanity to send representatives to our central worlds. There is much to discuss about your potential place among the stars." As Cole shook an alien hand for the first time in human history, he couldn't help but notice how some of the aliens studied the humans with what seemed like caution rather than welcome. "We accept your invitation," Cole said, unaware that this moment would forever change humanity's destiny among the stars. The diplomatic gathering took place aboard the consortium's massive station called the Nexus, a sprawling structure that housed representatives from all 12 member species. The human delegation, now expanded to include senior diplomats from Earth, marveled at the grand meeting chambers with their flowing architecture and strange, beautiful artwork. Captain Cole adjusted his formal uniform collar as he watched Olivia Grant taking discreet sensor readings of the station's atmosphere. Daniel Wright stood nearby, his translator device constantly updating with new alien language patterns. Amazing how quickly they've accommodated our biological needs, Olivia whispered. The oxygen levels in this section have been precisely calibrated for human comfort. Cole nodded. They've done this before. Bringing new species into the fold seems like a well-established process. The main diplomatic sessions had gone well. Earth's representatives impressed the consortium with humanity's rapid technological advancement and cultural diversity. But something about the aliens' polite interest felt rehearsed to Cole, as if they were following a standard protocol rather than genuinely engaging. As the day's formal meetings ended, the human delegation moved toward the reception area. Cole noticed a tall, slender alien watching them from a side corridor. Unlike the colorful, flowing garments worn by most attendees, this being wore simple gray coverings. Its skin was pale blue with faint ridges across the forehead, and its 4 eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. When the alien gestured subtly toward Cole, curiosity got the better of him. He nodded to Wright, and they both approached. "I am Zextar of the Veldari," the alien said in surprisingly good English. "We must speak privately." Wright looked concerned. "Sir, the reception will continue without us for a few minutes," Cole finished. "Lead the way, Zextar." The alien guided them to a small alcove designed for private conversations. Its movements were quick, almost nervous. "You humans are in danger," Zextar said without preamble. "Not immediate physical danger, but something worse. Extinction through miscalculation." Cole kept his expression neutral. "That's quite a claim. I serve as an archivist for the consortium's integration division. For 8 cycles, your equivalent of 30 Earth years, I have studied the records of species invited to join the consortium." Zextar's voice lowered. "There are patterns in our history. Species that were welcomed, evaluated, and then disappeared. Their numbers dwindled until they occupied only minor roles, their home systems gradually absorbed by the consortium proper." Wright frowned. "Are you suggesting deliberate extermination?" "No, nothing so crude." Zextar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The consortium underestimates species that don't appear immediately threatening. Your kind seems physically unimpressive to many members. No natural weapons, moderate strength, limited sensory capabilities." Cole crossed his arms. "So we're being dismissed as harmless. For now. But I've analyzed your transmitted historical and biological data. Humans are dangerous in ways the consortium doesn't recognize. Your adaptability, your aggressive innovation, your ability to unify against external threats. These are traits shared with species the consortium eventually deemed threats." "Why tell us this?" Cole asked. "Why risk your position?" Zextar's skin rippled with what might have been emotion. "Because true stability comes from balanced power. The consortium has grown complacent in its dominance. Your species could provide needed equilibrium, or become another footnote in our archives." Wright looked skeptical. "This sounds like xenophobic paranoia. The consortium has been nothing but welcoming. They welcome all new species, at first." Zextar pressed a small data device into Cole's hand. "Study this. It contains historical records of 3 species who once stood where you stand now. All are functionally extinct today." Before Cole could respond, Zextar straightened and moved toward the exit. "They're watching us now. Remember, your perceived weakness is temporarily your protection. Use this time wisely." As Zextar departed, Cole turned the small device over in his hand, wondering if they'd just met a concerned ally or someone attempting to sabotage humanity's first interstellar alliance. 2 weeks into negotiations with the consortium, Security Officer Samantha Reeves noticed the change. At first, it was subtle. An extra alien observer during human training exercises, scanning devices that lingered too long when the human delegation passed through security checkpoints, and conversations that stopped when humans entered rooms. Samantha's short red hair and unassuming stature often led others to underestimate her, but 15 years in Earth's Special Security Division had honed her instincts. Right now, those instincts screamed danger. "I don't like it, Captain," she said quietly to Cole as they walked through the curved hallways of the diplomatic wing. Something shifted in the last 3 days. Cole nodded almost imperceptibly. I've noticed. The Malachi representative canceled our technology exchange meeting without explanation. And the data device from Zextar? Samantha asked. Grant confirmed it contains historical records about 3 species that joined the consortium between 800 and 400 years ago. All of them now reduced to having only a handful of representatives and minimal territory. They entered the human quarters, which Cole had swept for surveillance devices that morning. He still kept his voice low. The common thread was that all 3 species showed remarkable adaptation after joining. They absorbed consortium technology and rapidly improved upon it. Within 2 generations, they'd become technological innovators rather than adopters. Samantha's eyes narrowed. That sounds like us. Exactly. Earth went from basic flight to landing on our moon in 66 years. From discovering nuclear fission to quantum computers in less than a century. Their conversation was interrupted by Daniel Wright's urgent entrance. The communications specialist's normally calm demeanor was visibly shaken. Sir, I've been monitoring consortium communications channels as best I can with our equipment. Mentions of humanity have increased 400% in the last 48 hours. What are they saying? Samantha demanded. Wright swallowed hard. They've been analyzing our history. The world wars, Cold War, nuclear proliferation. But they're not just looking at conflicts. They're studying our disaster responses, our technology adoption curves, and our biological adaptability. Cole's face darkened. And a faction has formed among at least 5 species, advocating for what they call limited human involvement. Another group seems to support Zextar's position that we represent a potential threat. The door chimed, indicating another visitor. Samantha moved smoothly to a position where she could intercept any threat, but it was only Olivia Grant entering with her datapad. The Consortium Council has called an emergency session, Olivia reported. Our representatives have been invited to observe but not participate. Cole took the pad and studied the formal notification. The topic: Assessment of Human Integration Potential and Risk Factors. Olivia read aloud. It's scheduled for tomorrow. Samantha began pacing the room. Did Zextar trigger this, or was it happening anyway? Both, perhaps, Cole replied. His warnings may have accelerated something already in motion. Either way, we need to prepare for deteriorating conditions. Wright looked worried. You think they might take hostile action? Not overtly, Cole said, but restricted access, limited technology sharing, perhaps even quarantine protocols for human space, all wrapped in diplomatic language about cultural preservation and developmental timelines. They're afraid of us, Olivia realized. Not of what we are, but of what we might become. Cole walked to the viewport where distant stars glimmered. Among them was Sol, impossibly far away now. Earth had sent their best representatives, but they were completely isolated if things went wrong. Send an encrypted update to Earth Command, he ordered, and tell Richard Hayes I need him to gauge which consortium members might still be sympathetic to our position. Samantha checked her sidearm discreetly. And if there aren't any sympathetic members? Cole's expression was grim. Then we make contingency plans for a very quick departure. The Consortium Council chamber curved in a perfect oval, with tiered seating that accommodated the diverse physiologies of its members. The human delegation sat in the observer section, uncomfortably aware of the attention focused on them. The Grand Arbiter, a tall, willowy being with luminescent skin named Frelta, stood at the center platform. After careful consideration, the Council proposes a series of evaluation trials for our human guests. These will help us better understand their capabilities and determine appropriate integration pathways. Captain Cole exchanged glances with Diplomatic Officer Richard Hayes, whose decades of experience in Earth's diplomatic corps had taught him to recognize a political maneuver when he saw one. They want to test us like lab specimens, Hayes whispered. Cole nodded slightly. Or give us enough rope to hang ourselves. The tests began the following day. The humans were told they were standard procedures for all prospective member species. 4 trials were designed: physical endurance, psychological resilience, technological aptitude, and diplomatic navigation. For the physical trial, engineer Kyle Bennett was selected. A stocky man with calloused hands and an easy smile. Kyle had grown up in the punishing gravity of Earth's first Martian colony. The consortium observers watched as he completed physical tasks in varying gravity and atmospheric conditions. Remarkable adaptability, one alien scientist noted as Kyle finished a complex assembly task while wearing an awkward environmental suit in triple Earth gravity. Most species require generational adaptation for such performance shifts. The psychological resilience test fell to Science Officer Olivia Grant. She was placed in a simulation chamber that generated increasingly stressful scenarios based on her brain patterns. Subject continues to maintain decision-making capacity under extreme stress. The evaluation read, "Notable problem-solving creativity when standard approaches fail." The technological aptitude test became particularly revealing. Kyle was given access to a malfunctioning consortium shuttle with tools he had never seen before. When the observing engineers returned 3 hours later, they found not only the original problem fixed, but several efficiency improvements implemented. "How did you determine this reconfiguration would work?" demanded the lead engineer, a reptilian being with 6 limbs. Kyle shrugged. "The power coupling was similar enough to our fusion regulators. I figured the principles would translate." The diplomatic test proved the most challenging. Richard Hayes faced a simulated negotiation between 3 notoriously incompatible consortium species. Unknown to Hayes, the simulation was designed to be unwinnable. After 4 hours, Hayes had negotiated a compromise that, while not perfect, addressed the core concerns of all parties. The consortium observers whispered among themselves. "He identified leverage points we didn't program into the simulation," one said. "Humans appear to instinctively search for weaknesses and advantages," another noted with concern. As the trials concluded, the human delegation was escorted back to their quarters. They found Zextar waiting for them, his blue skin pale with agitation. "You don't understand what you've done," he said without greeting. "These tests were meant to confirm your limitations, not showcase your strengths." Security Officer Samantha Reeves stepped forward. "We were asked to perform our best. We did. And in doing so, you've confirmed my analysis." Zextar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "I am scheduled to present my findings to the full council tomorrow. Many now support my assessment that humans represent a destabilizing force." "We're not a threat," Cole insisted. "Aren't you?" Zextar countered. "Your engineer improvised solutions our specialists would need simulations to develop. Your diplomat found exploitable weaknesses in a scenario designed to be unwinnable. Your scientists adapt to new information faster than any species we've encountered in centuries." Kyle Bennett frowned. "That's just how humans work. We fix things." "Yes," Zextar said quietly. "That's precisely what terrifies them. You fix things no one asked you to fix, in ways no one predicted, while constantly looking for advantages." As he left, Cole realized that the trials had never been about finding humanity's strengths. They had been about confirming humanity's dangers. The Grand Chamber of the Consortium Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from the 12 major species sat in their designated sections, while dozens of minor species occupied the upper tiers. Captain Cole noted with unease that the human delegation had been moved farther from the central platform than before. Zextar stood at the presentation podium, his blue skin shifting to deeper hues as he addressed the assembled dignitaries. "Honored representatives, I have analyzed the data from both historical records and the recent human trials. The evidence leads to an inescapable conclusion. Humans represent a disruptive force unlike any we have encountered in the modern era of the consortium." Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing comparative charts of technological development rates, adaptive responses, and conflict patterns. "Observe humanity's response to catastrophic events," Zextar continued. Where most species experience cultural regression following disasters, humans accelerate their innovation. Their history shows repeated instances of devastating global conflicts followed by unprecedented technological leaps. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Richard Hayes leaned toward Cole. "This isn't going well," he whispered. Half the representatives looked terrified. Samantha Reeves nodded grimly. The other half looked calculating, which might be worse. As Zextar concluded his presentation, the council erupted into debate. The universal translators struggled to keep pace with the overlapping arguments. The humans must be isolated for the safety of established order. Their potential contributions are too valuable to dismiss. We should study them under controlled conditions. The Grand Arbiter Vrelta finally raised all four of her arms, calling for order. We will proceed with formal position statements from each faction. Over the next 3 hours, the factional lines became clear. The isolationists, led by the militant Drazek species, advocated for quarantining human space and limiting all contact. The integrationists, a coalition of scientifically oriented species, argued for full acceptance of humanity into the consortium. The largest group, calling themselves the cautionists, proposed a middle path of limited engagement under strict oversight. When the human delegation returned to their quarters, they found their access to the station's communication systems restricted. "I can't reach the Horizon *," Daniel Wright reported, his fingers moving frantically over his communication device. "All channels to our ship are blocked." Olivia Grant frowned at her datapad. "Our scheduled departure clearance has been revoked pending security review." "We're being contained," Cole said quietly, possibly as a prelude to more severe restrictions. Kyle Bennett paced the room. "They can't just keep us here against our will, can they? They control this station, the surrounding space, and outgun us by orders of magnitude," Samantha pointed out. "So yes, practically speaking, they can." Richard Hayes rubbed his temples. "I've seen this pattern in Earth history. When fear drives policy, rationality suffers. We need allies within the system." The Malachi representatives seemed sympathetic to our position, Olivia suggested. "Their evolutionary history includes rapid adaptation phases similar to humanity's." Cole nodded. "Hayes, work with Grant to identify potential allies." "Right, keep trying to establish some form of communication with the Horizon *. Use the emergency channels if necessary." Reeves Bennett, "We need contingency plans." "For what exactly?" Kyle asked. "For everything from diplomatic house arrest to emergency evacuation," Cole replied. "If the isolationists win the debate, we may need to leave quickly, with or without permission." Samantha's expression was grim. "And if we can't leave?" Cole looked out the viewport at the vast consortium station stretching around them. The human delegation was 12 people in a facility housing over 40,000 aliens, millions of light years from Earth. Then we remind them why Zextar was right to be concerned about humanity's response to being cornered. As night cycle began aboard the station, the political fracture within the consortium deepened, with humanity's future hanging in the balance. The emergency alert shattered the artificial night cycle aboard the consortium station. Flashing lights and multi-tonal alarms activated simultaneously, causing the human delegation to spring into action. Captain Cole was halfway to the door when a message came through their recently restored communication system. "Outpost Trell 7 under heavy attack," Daniel Wright read, his face pale in the pulsing emergency lights. "Unknown hostile force. Multiple consortium vessels disabled. Requesting immediate assistance." The door slid open, revealing Zextar, accompanied by 2 high-ranking consortium security officers. "Your presence is requested in the Strategic Command Center," Zextar announced. Immediately. Minutes later, the human delegation stood before a massive holographic display, showing a chaotic battle unfolding near the borders of human space. A consortium outpost, the same one where they had first made contact, was under attack by sleek, predatory vessels of unknown design. "The Raiders," whispered one of the alien commanders. They have not ventured this deep into consortium space in generations. The Grand Arbiter of Relta turned to Cole. Your vessel, the Horizon *, is nearest to the outpost. We are requesting your assistance. Cole noted the careful phrasing. Not ordering, not even commanding, but requesting. The political implications were enormous. The Horizon * is a scout ship with minimal weapons, Cole said. What's the status of consortium defense forces? 2 hours away at maximum speed, replied a military officer. Outpost Trell 7 will be destroyed before they arrive. Richard Hayes moved closer to Cole. This is both a crisis and an opportunity, he whispered. How we respond now could determine humanity's standing for generations. Cole nodded slightly. The Horizon * will assist, along with any other human vessels in the sector. He activated his communication device. Cole to Horizon *, battle stations. Set course for Outpost Trell 7, maximum speed. The Strategic Command Center fell silent as everyone watched the battle unfold. The raiders attacked with ruthless precision, their technology seemingly designed to counter standard consortium defenses. 5 human vessels responding, Daniel Wright announced. The Horizon *, 2 research vessels, and 2 mining ships that were departing the human system. Samantha Reeves leaned forward. Those mining ships have reinforced hulls and industrial cutting equipment. In the right hands. Exactly what I was thinking, Cole said with a grim smile. He opened a channel to all human ships. This is Captain Cole. We're facing superior forces with advanced technology. Standard tactics won't work. Switch to Protocol Epsilon. The alien observers exchanged confused glances. What is Protocol Epsilon? Demanded a Drazic military commander. Kyle Bennett grinned. It means we stop fighting by the book. On the holographic display, the human vessels suddenly altered their approach. Instead of forming a defensive line as consortium military doctrine dictated, they scattered in seemingly random patterns. The Horizon * accelerated directly toward the largest raider vessel, appearing to attempt a suicidal ramming maneuver. What are they doing? Gasped a consortium tactician. At the last moment, the Horizon * cut all power and went into a controlled tumble, appearing disabled. As the raider vessel moved to finish off the apparently helpless ship, the Horizon * suddenly powered up and unleashed a concentrated weapons burst at point-blank range into the enemy's previously identified weak spot. Meanwhile, the converted mining ships used their industrial cutting beams in ways their designers never intended, slicing through raider hull plating with devastating effect. They're using mining equipment as weapons, Sextar observed, his 4 eyes wide with astonishment. Within 40 minutes, the tide had turned. The remaining raiders retreated, leaving behind 3 disabled vessels and a saved consortium outpost. As the Strategic Command Center erupted in relieved conversation, Cole noticed the range of expressions on the alien faces: admiration, gratitude, and in many cases, unmistakable fear. Sextar moved to Cole's side. You understand what just happened. You have proven every point in my presentation. We saved your people, Cole replied. Yes, Sextar said quietly, and showed the entire consortium exactly how dangerous humans can be. The Grand Assembly Hall of the consortium had never been so crowded. Representatives from all member species filled every available space, with overflow crowds watching on projection screens throughout the station. At the center of attention stood the human delegation, their actions during the raider attack now legendary throughout consortium space. Captain Cole stood tall in his formal uniform, flanked by his crew. The past week had been a whirlwind of debriefings, technical exchanges, and private meetings with faction leaders. Now the Consortium Council would render its final decision on humanity's status. Grand Arbiter Vrelta rose from her ceremonial seat, her luminescent skin pulsing with formal patterns. This council has deliberated extensively on the matter of human integration into the Galactic Consortium. We recognize this as a pivotal moment in our collective history. The chamber fell silent as Zextar approached the speaking platform. His once controversial status had transformed. He was now regarded as a visionary who had correctly assessed humanity's potential. Honored representatives, Zextar began, his voice steady. I stand before you to amend my previous position. I warned that humans represented a dangerous force in our ordered galaxy, and recent events have confirmed this assessment beyond question. Murmurs swept through the assembly. Cole felt Samantha Reeves tense beside him. However, Zextar continued, I now propose that controlled integration rather than isolation is our wisest course. Humanity's territorial expansion is inevitable. Their adaptability and resource utilization would eventually overcome any barriers we might establish. Zextar's four eyes swept across the chamber. The question is not whether humans will become a galactic power, but whether they will do so as our allies or our adversaries. History teaches us that species who feel threatened become exactly what we fear them to be. The debate lasted for hours as representatives from each faction presented final arguments. The isolationists still advocated for containment, while the integrationists pushed for full acceptance. The cautionists, now the dominant faction, supported Zextar's middle path. Finally, Cole was invited to address the council. Distinguished representatives, he began, humanity does not deny our capacity for violence. Our history contains darkness alongside light, but we have learned from our mistakes and built societies that value peace, cooperation, and mutual growth. He paused, looking around the chamber. Yes, we improvise. We adapt. We look at problems differently. These qualities made us appear dangerous to you. Yet these same qualities saved Outpost Trell 7 and its people. Richard Hayes stepped forward with a datapad. We propose a new type of membership, one that acknowledges both our potential contributions and your legitimate concerns. The proposal outlines special provisions. Human expansion would proceed gradually with consortium oversight. Technology exchanges would be monitored, and joint defense initiatives would be established under shared command structures. As the council voted, Cole watched the tally with held breath. When the final results appeared, relief washed over the human delegation. The treaty had passed with a substantial majority. Grand Arbiter Vrelta approached the humans with a formal treaty document. You have charted a new path within our ancient institution. Not fully integrated, not isolated, but connected through carefully balanced relationships. Later, as the human delegation prepared to return to Earth with news of their unprecedented diplomatic achievement, Zextar visited their quarters one final time. You will change us, he said without preamble. The consortium has existed for millennia with only incremental evolution. Humanity will accelerate everything. Cole offered his hand in the human gesture of friendship that Zextar had learned. Is that such a bad thing? Perhaps not, Zextar replied, accepting the handshake. Change is necessary for growth. But remember this, Captain. They fear you now, but perhaps that's what will keep the peace. In fear, there is respect. In respect, there can be understanding. As the Horizon departed the consortium station, carrying humanity's first interstellar treaty, Cole watched the vast structure recede on the view screen. Earth's place among the stars was now secured, not through conquest or submission, but through the complex understanding that sometimes the most dangerous ally is the most valuable one. The galaxy would never be the same again, and neither would humanity.